In a world where life can change in the blink of an eye, there are stories that prove even the greatest cinema icons can be heroes in real life. One of these stories is that of Sylvester Stallone, the globally renowned star known for the character Rocky Balboa. While his name is often associated with action and drama films, the story he lived outside the cameras reveals the real impact a person can have on another's life, touching many hearts and creating a legacy of kindness and humanity. It was a peaceful morning in Los Angeles when Sylvester Stallone, on his morning walk to the cafe, ended up witnessing an unexpected and moving scene. The street was quiet, like any other day in Hollywood, but the atmosphere of an uncomfortable situation hung in the air. In front of a small house in the heart of the city, a woman was having a heated argument with an eviction officer. The woman, visibly distressed, was holding a document with the words "Immediate Eviction" in large black letters, and her face was marked with panic and frustration. Stallone, with his attentive and curious gaze, approached, not yet knowing what was happening. He had always had a curious and empathetic nature, and upon seeing the woman's suffering, he couldn't simply ignore it. He approached her and, with his characteristic calm, asked if she was okay. The woman, named Carla, turned to him and, between tears, told her story. Carla had lost her job during the pandemic when the tourism industry where she worked was hit hard. With the loss of income, she watched her life slowly fall apart. Despite trying to find other temporary jobs, she couldn't keep up with the bills and rent. And now, here she was, on the brink of losing the house she'd lived in for so many years, not knowing where she would go. Stallone was moved. He knew what it was like to fight to survive, especially because he had faced similar challenges at the beginning of his career. In the 70s, when he was still trying to make his mark in Hollywood, Stallone had also gone through extreme difficulties. He was broke, struggling to pay bills, and even had to sell his dog, Butkus, to survive. If there was one thing Stallone understood better than anyone, it was the pain of having nowhere to go. The immediate impact in the weeks that followed Stallone's unexpected gesture, Carla felt that her life was finally taking a clearer direction. For so long she had lived in chaos, battling a sea of debt, watching the bills pile up while the weight of overdue rent threatened the stability of her home. The fear of eviction had become a constant shadow, following her every step. But Stallone's financial help was a ray of light amidst the storm. She was able to catch up on her rent, balance her finances, and even take the first steps to rebuild her life. However, what Stallone didn't know, and what would turn out to be one of the greatest surprises of his life, was that his simple act of kindness would be the spark that ignited a revolution of hope and action. What started as temporary help would grow into something much larger. Stallone's generosity not only alleviated Carla's suffering but also touched the hearts of everyone around her. The community, which had long been accustomed to seeing only the daily struggle for survival, now had a story to tell, a story of an act of kindness that defied expectations and inspired radical change. News of what Stallone had done for Carla spread quickly. It was as if his generosity had spread like a wave, touching not only those directly involved but also all those who were on the sidelines, watching in disbelief. The way he acted, without expecting anything in return, without seeking recognition, showed that pure and simple kindness still existed, and it could change the course of someone's life in unimaginable ways. But the impact didn't stop there. Carla, now with a lighter heart and a more focused mind, began reflecting on how much this act of generosity had changed her view on life. For so long she had been submerged in suffering, in the daily battle for survival, that she couldn't see the possibility of making a difference in the lives of others. She had been a victim of circumstances, but now, with a new perspective and the chance to start over, she felt an uncontrollable urge to help. Carla couldn't simply accept the good fortune without trying to do something more. She knew the pain and fear she had experienced were present in many other stories around her. People like her, struggling to keep their homes, families on the edge of despair, all caught in an endless cycle of debt and hopelessness. Carla, moved by Stallone's gesture, decided she couldn't just stand by while so many others needed help. She knew her new mission was more than just surviving, it was to transform this struggle into something collective, an opportunity for everyone suffering like she had. Inspired by the idea that one small gesture could spark a great wave of change, Carla founded the NGO Rocky Hearts. The name was not just a tribute to Stallone but also a symbol of the strength and resilience she believed everyone had within them. Rocky, the character Stallone portrayed, was not just a boxer. He represented the relentless fight against life's adversities, and now Carla wanted Rocky Hearts to be the place where people could find that same strength. The mission of the NGO was clear: to support those facing financial hardships by offering not just material help but emotional support as well. Carla knew that many people like her didn't just need a simple loan or temporary help. They needed ongoing support that empowered them to change their lives. She began working tirelessly, seeking partnerships, raising funds, and offering direct support to families at risk. The impact of Rocky Hearts was immeasurable. In a short time, Carla and her team began helping hundreds of families overcome their challenges. They didn't just help pay bills, they offered financial counseling, psychological support, and skills training. Carla became more than just an NGO founder. She was now a symbol of hope and perseverance for everyone who passed through the organization's doors. Her work not only transformed the lives of those she directly helped but also inspired many others to take the first step toward change. But what surprised Carla was seeing Stallone's reaction. He had never imagined that the simple act of paying his rent would be so transformative. When he heard about Rocky Hearts, his reaction was one of deep emotion. He had always known that his fame could be a powerful tool, but he never imagined it could be the key to such a grand movement. In that moment he felt more fulfilled than in any of his cinematic victories. He was no longer just a famous actor. He was becoming a true hero in real life, someone who had touched another person's life in a way that words could never describe. What Stallone did for Carla wasn't just a charitable act. It was the beginning of an empathy revolution. His simple act was the starting point for a change that touched thousands of lives. For him, it wasn't about solving all of Carla's problems or becoming a messianic figure. He wanted, in fact, to give her the chance to fight. He knew that a person's true strength isn't in being saved, but in being able to rise again on their own. And that's exactly what Carla did. She didn't settle for her new situation. She didn't just feel grateful and move on. She used what she had received to drive a wave of solidarity and change that, over time, spread across the country. Her NGO grew in an unimaginable way, reaching people from all walks of life, inspiring those on the brink of giving up to believe again. Carla became a passionate advocate for the rights of those living on society's margins, and her mission was never just to offer a temporary solution but to give these people the tools to rise again permanently. Stallone, in turn, became a true example of humility. He knew the legacy he had created wasn't in the movies or the awards he had won, but in the real impact he had on people's lives. He proved that true greatness doesn't lie in the spotlight, but in the ability to touch lives in meaningful and profound ways. He taught the world that true strength isn't in winning individual fights, but in helping others find their own strength to fight their battles. Stallone's legacy is now remembered not just for the memorable roles he played, but for the lives he touched, the stories he inspired, and the opportunities he gave thousands of people to start over. And ultimately, what he did for Carla by helping her avoid eviction was more than a simple act of kindness. It was an act of transformation, rewriting the destiny of someone and so many others who now had the chance to start over. In the following years, the Rocky Hearts NGO continued to grow, helping thousands of people avoid eviction, overcome debts, and rebuild their lives. The impact of the organization went beyond the expectations of Carla and everyone involved from the beginning. She, now an advocate for social justice, became one of the most active voices in campaigns to help those facing financial difficulties in times of crisis. Carla knew how life could change overnight and how the support of a helping hand could be transformative. Rocky Hearts was a great network of solidarity, and she dedicated herself wholeheartedly to it. Over the years, the NGO expanded its projects to different countries, forming partnerships with other organizations and broadening its reach. In addition to financial assistance, the NGO began offering psychological support, legal guidance, and professional training programs for those who needed it most. The global movement around Rocky Hearts started to grow, and in various parts of the world, Carla's name became associated with a solidarity movement that began with a simple gesture but grew into a symbol of struggle and overcoming. Carla was moved to see that, even after so many years, the dream that started with such a small action was still touching the lives of so many people. Alongside her team, she saw the direct impact of her work. People who had once been on the streets, hopeless, now had new jobs, homes to call their own, and above all, dignity. She knew she couldn't have done any of this alone, but she felt profound gratitude for each person who believed in the project and helped her carry the mission forward. One of the greatest moments for Carla was when she had the opportunity to speak at the UN, presenting the results of her work and inviting more countries to join the cause. The world seemed to have finally recognized the importance of more structured support for those on the margins of society. Carla, with her humility and determination, was a clear example that great changes come from small and meaningful actions. She never forgot her personal story and what had motivated her to start. She always reminded herself and everyone around her that true success wasn't in what you gain, but in what you give back to the world. Stallone, for his part, continued his journey, but what he did for Carla was forever etched in his heart. Although he kept pursuing his career in cinema, he knew that sometimes the greatest victories aren't those won on movie screens, but those where we make a difference in someone's life. The simple gesture of supporting Carla's cause, expecting nothing in return, not only changed her life but also the world around her. He felt an immense pride seeing how the idea he had initially embraced in such a modest way had become something much bigger. Stallone's support was crucial in giving visibility to the NGO in the beginning, and he never fully distanced himself. On several occasions he helped promote Rocky Hearts projects and even made surprise visits to the NGO support centers. He understood that fame could be a powerful vehicle for positive change, and he felt immense satisfaction seeing the fruits of his contribution. In one of the most important events, he was invited to present the Hero of Solidarity award to Carla, and in doing so he said words that would remain forever in everyone's memory. Sometimes a person's true strength isn't measured by the number of blows they can withstand in a fight, but by the courage to fight for those who have no voice, by the ability to extend a hand and help others rise again. Carla, you are an example of this, and I'm grateful to have had the honor of helping make this dream possible. These words resonated deeply with everyone present, and many there, who perhaps had started to see fame and glamour in a superficial way, began to see the true essence of what it meant to use visibility for good. Carla, with tears in her eyes, knew that moment represented the culmination of a lifetime's hard work dedicated to a noble cause. And so, Rocky Hearts continued on its path with Carla and Stallone as great pillars, but with each of us also doing our part, whether through small donations, volunteer work, or spreading the message that, together we are stronger. The NGO became not just a financial support organization, but a true community of people united by a single purpose: the fight for dignity and hope. If you were moved by this inspiring story and want to see more incredible stories of celebrities making a difference in the world, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to leave your like and comment below, as your words are important to us and help spread this message of hope and humanity to every corner of the world. Together we can make a difference.